I'm Opal?
You're Opal.
Just mind you, everybody, we're on the stream now. Hello.
We're figuring it out. We got it. We got it going. So, welcome, kiddies. While Aaron figures things out, I will inform you that we're having a very special episode, or a series of very special episodes here on the channel, because while Aaron is prepping our next campaign, they've all decided to let me DM or GM for some reason. So, enjoy. We're gonna be playing some Monster of the Week, but I'm doing some weird shit with it. So,
yay!
Have fun with that. So, for those of you who have never played, let me go ahead and, because I don't have it up, because I'm not a hunter, but let me pull up the old hunter reference sheet, so I have that in front of me. But yeah, for those who have never played any of the what is it called, Powered by the Apocalypse stuff, this is gonna work a little differently than our normal D&D 5e. There we go, reference sheet. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up something while talk to you all. So the biggest difference, for those of you who are new, who are joining us, is that when you take an action, well, first of all, there's no real turn order, ever. Second, when you take an action, it is not as broken down as in D&D, as in you don't have, or Pathfinder, where you have to roll for individual portions of the thing you are doing, or it only lasts 10 seconds. You tell me exactly what you want to do. I want to take this flaming torch and throw it into the monster's eye. Whatever. And I tell you what I want you to roll. And the other biggest difference, for those of you who have never played a Powered by the Apocalypse game, your rolls decide how well you do the action you're trying to take, not whether the action succeeds or fails. So in this universe, much like in life, and one of my favorite things about it, you can roll perfectly and do as well as your character can do at the thing you're doing, and still fail. You can absolutely muff your roll and still succeed, because we've all known plenty of people who fail upwards.
Yep. So, just real quick, Abby, you should see I gave you access to your character and your character sheet so that you are all set in Roll20. You just have to pick your role, your archetype, and I'm sure we'll get that all stepped in through.
Also,
so
there is an archetype in there that wasn't in the basic list I showed you that you may like. It's called the Spooktacular. So look in your, if you go on your Roll20,
and you go to your character.
Yep, pull up your character sheet. It's loading up right now. So, the other thing, while we're doing this, perfect time to mention, one of the other things that sort of differentiates the Apocalypse system from D20 systems, or 5e, Pathfinder, whatever you want to call it, the group sort of builds their characters together. You sort of come in, you can come in with ideas, but there's always a hard session zero where we decide how you've all met, what your backstories and histories are with each other, all of that sort of thing. So I will, since I know there are some of you who are already, I know Abby's got to put her character sheet in, so why don't we, you've probably got your shit together, Aaron, so
Sure.
Why don't we start with you. What tell me about your character and what is your archetype.
Well, my name is Conrad Haas Voltzigeren. I don't know if I said it right. I'll have to talk to my wife. My wife knows German better than I do. Voltzigeren. I am a blonde hair, blue-eyed, ultimate specimen of the Aryan race. And the archetype I've picked is the spooky.
We got a spoopy. Okay.
I'm about 15, 16 years old.
Okay. All right. Derek, what are we thinking?
You're muted. You're mouthing.
I am mouthy. My name is Lars. I'm a grifter, and let's see. I'm playing the crooked.
You're our shady dealer this time.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I actually, you know what? I haven't heard much from you yet. Well, I mean, I have heard some, but Chris, what are we going with?
So my name is Vincent. I have been kind of stuck around America for a few hundred years right now. But I am a monstrous, half ghosty.
Okay. All right. And we'll go with Reagan next. What are we thinking, Reagan?
Hi, you old mucky muck. I'm Oda Erickson, and I'm a professional working with the agency.
All right. You know what? Let me just to make sure we've got our historical flavor right. I want to make sure I get the name of this right. I was gonna just do it off the cuff, but
The agency.
The agency.
so you.
He's excommunicado.
It's sorry to say.
Oh, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. Did the OSS exist?
No, that's what I'm
World
looking
War
up because
II?
I can't remember what would have
Nope,
been. at that
42. Okay.
MI8 did exist, so that's what I thought.
point.
Okay, we can go with that.
You
Absolutely.
There is I was gonna say there's the Office of Naval Intelligence was around back then.
Odette, you have
But the
you have union dues.
yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of those like typical 3-letter agencies around back then. So
Yeah, no, I knew that the OSS was the World War II era, but I didn't know if it may be extended back into the 30s or whatever. And we could fluff it as she was like one of the very first, but whatever. You said
MI8
So which
is the
agency?
US
MI8.
Intelligence Agency,
okay.
which was known as we got transferred to the State Department in 1919, known as the Black Chamber, focused on diplomatic rather than military communications.
Mhm.
But then Hoover, I think, switched it back to a military organization
Mhm.
later.
Okay. So, all right. So I know you are more like classic like infosec. So no, that okay.
Yeah.
So I gotcha. Okay. Greg, what are we thinking?
For the character, like
Yes.
the class and everything.
Yeah. What are you thinking backstory wise, and what are you thinking class wise?
Oh, I'm Brock, and when the mob needs something done, you know, the special stuff, I come in and I kill it. I take care of it. It's what I do.
Awesome. And
I'm an expert. Okay, you hear me? I'm an expert.
All right.
Jersey Union, huh?
I've actually, I've met that guy on a local one call.
4
But,
packs a day.
Doctor
So,
says it's good for him.
yeah.
It's good for him.
These are my
Clear
diet.
up the lungs and said I'll live a long time.
These are my diet
Um,
cigarettes.
All right. So we're up to you, Abby. What are you thinking?
So my character, it was going to be a baby who was abandoned outside of a Romani camp and became and was taken in by the troupe who all make up the acts of a traveling circus. And the ringleader serves as my surrogate father, and then I will just fill whatever role has not been filled yet. So.
All right. Well, you can pick from multiple playbooks. From what you've told me of your character, I think we said Aaron's already a spooky. I would look at the Spooktacular real quick. There's also the Spellslinger, or we can just flavor you as a different spoopy because, to be completely honest, this game isn't really designed to be a party this large. It's like a 3 to 4 person game normally. So I will absolutely fluff the rule about there being one archetype per game.
Familiarizing
You,
myself
you
right
can
now.
also be the wronged. Sounds like you got dumped off.
That is my secondary character.
Yeah, her backup character she already talked to me about is a the wronged. And I will recommend, if you guys don't already have one, start thinking up second characters ideas, because I will murder you.
Oh, good. My second character is going to be really easy to throw into the story. Like, really easy.
So the other thing about this game that sort of is a little different from like Pathfinder-y Roll20, little more like Call of Cthulhu or something. It is a horror game. So if, for instance, you make the choice to fight when you should run, there are things you cannot kill conventionally. There are monsters, for instance, that can only be killed in very specific ways, and if you don't have the thing to kill them, you have no chance against them. So if you engage anyway, not knowing that, I murder you. My monster murders you. Like, it's just kind of how the game works, so don't feel bad if I accidentally murk you. And be ready to have a second character if you need one. Because that is the other caveat here that makes it very different from most other adventure games. You will absolutely, I shouldn't say will, but very frequently you will run into monsters that can only be killed in a very specific way. Like, we'll use a supernatural trope. If you're up against a ghost, the only way you can kill that ghost is to destroy their corpse, dig up and destroy their corpse, or destroy the artifact they've tied themselves to, like a house or a coin or whatever. But if you just fight that ghost, I'm gonna murder you.
Goodbye.
And for instance, like, maybe the expert can help you know which monsters, there are classes, or like Aaron's telepath, that can help you know how to answer that question, but I'm just saying, unlike D&D, there's no way to, like, there are situations, if you put yourself into them, you will not be able to roll out of. Your character just dies.
And Brandon, just to get this out of the way for you, I have rolled my premonition for the start of each mystery, and I have rolled a 12.
It's above a 10, isn't it?
Yep,
It's above 10 for you for that power.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's a benefit.
All right.
I just thought I'd get it out of the way for you to make your life easy.
No, that's great. So, starting hook. This is I will let you all decide how you become involved in this. I have some ideas for you, which I will present, but your starting hook is, definitely for Greg and Derek, so probably Aaron as well. Greg, you are contacted by the family. But very strangely this time, you're not being put in contact with somebody from the family. You get the sense that you're doing a favor for someone who's done some favors for the family. You are meeting with a man named, let me make sure I got my name straight here. You're meeting with a man named Henry Weiss. And you know from some recent article in the papers, Henry's son was recently murdered. As for you, Derek, same sort of thing. The family calls your the head of your gang, basically, and tells them that they need someone to look into something or help this guy look into something. And they know that you are the type of person who's really good at keeping your eyes out and your mouth shut. So they're bringing you in on this. You don't know what it's about. All you know is that you're to meet this guy from the family, and you're supposed to just help him out and watch his back. Be a sort of I don't want to call it a lookout, but
What, a plug?
yeah, you're sort of there to keep an eye out. It's not to say that they don't trust Greg's character. It's more that they want him to have some backup, but you're not high enough in the organization to need to know. And you are expendable to them at this point. Obviously, your character wouldn't know these things, but like just sort of as a player, they basically were like, hey, some normally pretty hairy shit happens when this guy comes to town. Let's not send one of our guys on it. Let's send one of the kids to back him up. You're that kid. You are just sort of meeting up with this guy. You know that you're going to have to help him find some things, and that he's going to need your help with connections in town, is basically what you've been told. You're his local connection, so to speak. Aaron, as his protege, that sort of kind of brings you in automatically. Mm-hmm. I'll let you all decide exactly what that looks like, and you guys can change details of that. This is just my ideas, by the way. But my idea is that this starts with this murder and him being called in to sort of look into it, because, not to foreshadow, but in the investigation that they've already done, they found out some things that aren't normal for a hit or a murder like this.
So, Derek, I just want to say, like, you're aware of my weird-ass powers.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, I'm listening.
The reason why you're going to bring me along is because you know I have them. You don't like me, but I'm useful. I'm a tool. Literally and figuratively, I'm a tool.
Actually, I think that's
I mean,
perfect.
That's how
Derek-
I think about most entities, like even the gang that I interact with. Like I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not.
what?
I'm not liked by many of you guys because
I like to fulcrum people to juice them to
Yeah.
my own
Yeah.
fulcrum.
you saw me use my powers in a very unfortunate manner. It to a point of nearly killing someone, and you stopped me.
So would Derek know about my character as being sort of like a boogeyman?
He knows that
When weird comes around, you are always around.
No. He doesn't even know that. Most mob members don't even know what it is Greg's character does specifically. To Derek, you are a high-ranking made man. He's not real sure what you do. He's pretty sure by your demeanor that you're a hitman. You're not the first hitman he's ever met. But he doesn't really know what it is exactly you do. He just knows you're an out-of-towner that the family called in specifically, which is rare. And they don't call in specialists for nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself. Greg is probably the hitman, right? I'm not the hitman, right?
No.
Okay.
Greg is the hitman.
I'm the fence.
Yeah, you're
I
you're
apply
there.
violence when it's necessary, but
Yeah, that's kind of
Appreciate
why they
that.
called you in, is that you're in the know, like that. You have connections with the police, you have inside tracks that he doesn't have because he's a specialist from out of town. But also I kind of want you to know, because your character has this sort of intuition, you have a bad feeling about this. That's why you're bringing Aaron along, is that not only is he useful, but sometimes he seems to know about things. Sometimes he seems to know about things before they happen.
yeah, more about things that he should know.
Yes. And you get such a bad feeling when you get this call that you're like, I'm not going anywhere without my fucking spidey sense. Like you're like, no, fuck this.
Yeah, and you've seen me beat the living shit out of somebody just because they gave me the wrong look.
So did he, I'm curious, GM-wise, did he see you lose control, or
Oh,
did
yeah.
he just see you in control?
No, it's completely lost control, and
Okay.
it's yeah.
So he saw your dark side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, the heat option that I selected was you took advantage of someone with special powers, a person or a monster. So I know that I can push them in a certain way, or
That works.
but
Okay.
I don't.
What was your other heat you picked?
You pissed off a well-connected criminal, and they do whatever they can to destroy you.
Does everybody have to pick a heat, or was that just his character?
That's his, because he's the
Yeah.
crooked.
Okay.
Or
Derek-
a police detective has made its personal goal to put you away. You have a rival from your background. You never missed a chance to screw you over.
I am gonna say, I'll let you decide what it is, but in one of your dealings between your street gang and the mafia, you pissed one of them off. Not get yourself killed, pissed them off, just you owe me a favor, piss them off, and that's what this is. They're calling it in.
Yeah,
You're gonna help this guy out.
could become a gimp, angry. Lose one of your knees, angry.
Yeah.
Do you want to piss the off, or do you want to betrayed my old partner in the middle of a job?
Either one works. It's the same for me. And the sheet is just to like a pick of what you kind of want. It doesn't really matter. We're just gonna make it the mob boss that is asking Greg, that called Greg in. You owe a favor because a deal went wrong. I'll let you decide what it is, what you owe him, blah blah blah. But it's not. He's not gonna kill you. He's only gonna kill you if you don't if you renege on the favor. If you don't,
I owe him some artwork and a past deal.
Yeah, it's something like that where you owe him something you didn't provide, so it's all right, kid. I won't kill you, but you got to give me that value back someday. You owe me, and this is his.
Go get your shine box.
Yeah, go get your fucking shine box.
Go get your. Where's your fucking shine?
All right, and it's pretty easy to work you in, Reagan, because
I'm trying to think who would the agency be the most interested in keeping an eye on?
So, I am going to give you some secret knowledge about the Weiss family.
Okay.
And you are going to know that basically the people most likely to have killed him and the message that was included with his body pointed to people your organization would be very interested in during this time period. We will work you in. I won't put you in the first scene because I think you're going to be easier to work in, like you stumble on Greg's investigation kind of thing. You're working on the same target kind of thing. So I will message you well, actually, you're going to find out in the first conversation what that information is, along with the rest of the party, but just backstory-wise, you will have known this from your contacts in the agency about what he's about to tell the rest of the party.
Okay.
Or whoever is there at this meeting. All right. How do we want to work you in, Ghosty McGee?
I don't know. So I was thinking like
maybe you met Greg on a previous job.
So my goal as a character would be to definitely not. I either want to be, like turn back into a human so I can just die and be done with it all, or, just get. So I'm basically in this more for research and trying to. That's probably why my motivation to get into like paranormal stuff is try to get myself out of this predicament that I'm in. So I don't know who I'm best to be working with at that point.
Let me think on that.
I'm sorry. I just think it would be really funny that you're the side. You've always worked with him, and it's just you've been like the silent partner all along. You're like the. you just hang around.
That is kind of like close to what I'm thinking. Is that because I think Greg is probably the easiest to attach you to, but we'll see. I'm gonna mull that over. / you guys mull that over.
I keep him around because he's always transparent.
my character, because are you just from out of town, or are you from out of country?
Out of town.
Out of town. Yeah, that could work.
I just have.
I mean, for a professional who's cleaning up messes, having a guy that can just walk through a wall, Well,
that's kind of what my thought process is that he somehow encountered you on a previous job, because he's an expert. He is absolutely aware of the supernatural universe. And I imagine he would pick and choose what is malevolent to him.
Yeah, and I'm in it for information, so I'd be trying to pick somebody who's getting into the weirdest shit, so I can try to work with them too.
Think of a hook there if you want, and I'm kind of thinking maybe the same sort of thing for you, Abby. I'm trying to think how we fit your character in here. Blip, 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 blip.
Abby, are you still with the circus?
No, I am not.
So maybe you're leaving the circus and you're just trying to work a normal job. 9 to 5 in Detroit.
this the time that I should go more deep into my backstory? I thought a lot about this on my drive back from the Springs today. So,
Yeah, if you would like to give them, you can give them whatever parts of your backstory you feel appropriate.
well, my character is a tragic character because the backstory is that she didn't actually realize that she had powers until she was in her late teens, and at that time, her kind of magical potential exploded and burned down the big top of the circus that she was working at.
Hot.
That's hot.
And you did go spooktacular from what I'm seeing. Alright, cool. So what you need to do here real quick while I'm looking, so you see this, choose a starting set. How this works is you choose a stat block. So whatever you want to make your starting stats, you choose from that stat block. So you've already burned down the circus. You've ended up in Detroit. Actually, you know what? No. I think the easiest way to attach you is through Derek. I think you are much like... So, Derek, your whole thing is you leverage people, right? Like, you're looking for assets.
Yep.
And you kind of do it by being a benevolent... You've been on the streets for a long time, so you help out the new kids on the streets, right? It's kind of how you... You've met Derek. We're going to say you are on the streets in Detroit. You're obviously not a child anymore, right? You're like in your early 20s, if I remember correctly. So, Derek, I'm not going to say she's one of your assets. I'm going to say you've run into her
We
on the
probably worked
streets.
on a job or two.
Yes.
We're both not with our inner folds.
Yeah, you're
we
not.
probably have
Your
higher
paths
trust.
have just crossed, and I think we're gonna do the same thing with you, Abby, if you don't mind. Where I think you're gonna get pulled into the story, not be there at the first scene, if that's okay. Cool. And we'll have Aaron and Derek pull you in. I think that's kind of how we're gonna play it. Is you're gonna be one of the locals that Derek uses as a resource, so to speak. So, cool. Now I want you all...
Should I do a crew and then have her be part of the crew? Instead
Well,
of
no,
being,
just because I don't want it to
not
be
not
like
connected, just
completely connected,
Yeah,
but yeah, like I want her to basically be sort of like your relationship is
We probably worked on a freelance job together.
yeah,
Already
that
part
sort of
so many
thing.
gangs, Derek. You don't need all the gang.
You or just like, you know, you fenced something to her, or she bought something from you, or you know, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
But you are unlike Aaron, you are not aware of what she's capable of, but you are aware that she's very capable,
Mhm.
is the way I would put it.
That makes sense.
Because with the spooktacular, what stat block did you go with, by the way?
I don't think I'm gonna do the spooktacular. I think I have to be
Oh.
the other version of the spooky, because the spooktacular is based on having like more experience with her magical capabilities, which she doesn't
Ugh.
have.
Okay.
But I chose.
Oh, it's still showing me a spooktacular on your sheet for some reason. Weird. I'll have to reload it. It's fine.
I chose the first set. So, 1 charm, 0 cool, 1 sharp, -1 tough, +2 weird.
Okay. Why is it still showing you? Is this spooktacular?
I can also go with the spell slinger.
No, I'm trying to figure out why in Roll20 it's not updating when I...
The Spellslinger would be interesting that you lost control of it and you started a fire.
Well, that's
Do we-
what I was. Yeah, we can still
Straight up
give
Trello that
you the
shit?
spooky. Like you can use the power set, and we can still give you the spooky mechanic of if something goes wrong enough, you lose control of your powers. I don't mind that at all. I'm honestly just trying to figure out why the fuck I can't see your character. It's showing me. It's still showing it as the spooktacular and stuff. It's not showing any of your choices.
I think you might have to refresh. My stuff wasn't changing until I refreshed all of Roll20.
Oh, okay. Well, let's try that real quick.
Yeah,
All right.
it's weird because it's still saying spooktacular for her too. Huh.
Let's see. All right. So so if you're gonna do a spell slinger, I'm gonna guess that you
There.
learned some of the like folk magic from your adoptive parents and you didn't know it was real kind of thing? Or
Well, because I think that the spooky fits best with the story that I came up with, but I don't want to encroach.
well, no, I'm fine with you also being a spooky. We'll just pick different power sets. We'll just flavor you differently. It's not a big deal. I honestly do not care. Like I said earlier, this game was designed for like 4 players, so if there's some archetype overlaps, I'm not gonna be upset. We're just gonna flavor you differently. There can be 2 spooky street kids. You're just gonna do very different things. That's all.
This is going to be a very weird group, like literally
Yes.
stat-wise weird group.
Yeah, yeah.
I just to
it's
let
gonna
you
be
know,
fun.
Abby, I did change yourself to the playbook. I changed it to spooky for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't want to intrude, but I was just letting you know that I changed you in the playbook.
No worries, I appreciate it.
But what else do we need to cover? So hooks wise, yeah. So we've got starting hook is obviously you're being called into sort of quasi murder investigation. Basically, the cops have already looked into it, and he's not satisfied because he knows that this was something involving the criminal element. And you're sort of the impetus, like we said, Greg. And Derek, you're obviously, you got called in as well, and then we're gonna join you in. Chris, would you like to be present to start, or how do you want to fit like that? Do you want to be sort of what I'm thinking for Abby? You're somebody that gets called in, or do you guys regularly work together and you're there with him in the background?
Say, maybe I'm one of his, people he goes to in this town. Like maybe I don't necessarily travel with him, but when he comes to town, he knows. Let's just say he's over previous jobs. He kept noticing this one guy who was always around and kind of in the background, never changing.
You're
though he
his
aged.
regular contact in the Midwest, so to speak. Okay.
Great Lakes region. Like that's just where I chill. So
Okay.
He knows your regular
Alright.
haunts.
So I'll say, I'll say that I'll be with him in the beginning, but just because he makes contact as he comes into town. If you're
Yeah.
good with that, Greg.
All right.
Makes sense.
Anybody? Would anybody like to have any other relationships to anybody else that I need to know about? You can get weird with it. I don't give a shit. Go for it.
I was gonna say technically one of the ghost things is somebody can be my long lost or not long lost descendant, but one of my descendants.
What's your ethnic background?
One of the
Well,
things
I was a pilgrim, so I was murdered just as we came into shore in America back in the mid 1600s.
Jesus.
So
And you're English, correct?
yeah, I
Reagan?
become. Oh, you.
We
We
can't
said
hear you.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I pissed off
You
a well-connected
do not know this. You are not a direct descendant,
You're
but
like a great niece.
yes,
Cousin once removed.
she
or
is
cousin
from.
5 times removed.
Well, because I
She's
didn't have kids. That was
Yep.
so. To get into a little bit of my backstory, I was basically I'm gay, and that got noticed on the ship, and of course, some people did not like it, and they murdered me with a brass plumb bob. By the way, Brandon, my vulnerability is brass.
Brass.
Yeah, that's the little curse thing I picked. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was I definitely wouldn't have any direct descendants of my own.
No, that's what I was thinking, is that you had a brother or a sister who stayed behind in England,
Mhm.
and
Came later.
she's her like great granddaughter. You don't know this, it may literally never come up in the story, but I love just having that random hook if it does come up.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to cover? So
My
let's dig in.
dead
I'm
5-time
sorry.
great grandmother's name, it was Minerva Batman.
Mm.
Just
Minerva Batman. Batman.
Batman.
What else do we need to go over before we start, you guys? Oh, so since I know some of you have never done this, there are sort of basic moves that you can do. The obvious one is kick some ass, which is literally what they call it, which is just fighting. To do that, you will roll tough, weird, whatever it says on your sheet, depending on what your power set is. You also will have times where I tell you you have to act under pressure, which is you'll roll cool for that. You can also help out, sort of like the aid mechanic in other RPGs. You can investigate, you can manipulate someone, protect someone, you can read a bad situation, so basically just kind of like insight check, and you can also use magic.
Mhm.
But there are two types of magic. There's the basic magic on your sheet, the normal power you can just use. Then there's also big magic. And this doesn't have to be done by a magic user. This just has to be done by somebody who is knowledgeable in magic. But basically for big magic, you tell me what you want to do, and I tell you what you need to do it. You need 12 other summoners and a summoning circle. You need diamond worth 1,000 gold, sort of thing. Or I tell you, sure, you can use your powers to blow up the entire building, but it will burn you out. Like, you won't be able to use that power from that point forward. It will have a cost.
So, if I may, there's
Yeah.
also some basic stuff here. So, let's say you roll, like, you can mark luck to change your roll. Okay, but
Yeah,
just
sorry, I was
remember-
going to get to that.
Oh yeah, I was just trying to be helpful. So
No, go ahead.
So there's luck and harm. So luck, basically, let's say you roll poorly, and you just say, "Screw it, I'm going to use a luck point to just make it and automatically roll a 12." Fantastic, great. But just remember, your luck wears out over time, and it could lead you to be doomed. So no matter what you do, be careful about how much luck you're using per adventure. Your harm is
Just to let you know, if you use up all of your luck, there are certain classes that have built-in mechanics. But for those of you that are not built-in mechanics, what it basically will mean is that I will start to actively play against you. Fate is coming for you once you use up all of your luck.
Yeah. And
So, even if you roll really, really well, I can say, cool, you dodge the first thing, and the space you dodge in, a rock falls onto your head. Like fate. Think like Final Destination shit. Like, luck is a tool, but if you use it up completely, fate literally actively wants you dead. Or for something bad to happen to you to balance out all of the good that has happened to you. The unnatural good, I should say. It's like a balancing mechanic.
And same with like harm after like certain when you reach 4 or more, mark is unstable. And then and unstable injuries will worsen over time. So just taking them out, everything you're doing, and of course you'll see up above on the Roll20 sheet, you'll see Hunter's Move references. Those are extremely helpful for you. I would move the triangle open so you can see that each part. So like acting under pressure, there's a roll like right to the right. You'll see the actual dice that you can click and roll right in the game. In Roll20 to make your lives easier. If you want to use your regular dice, use a dice, but this makes your life easier. And the big magic, you can actually see what he's talking about. The big magic, the use magic, read a bad situation, protect someone, manipulate someone, kick some ass, investigate a mystery, flexible alternative. I don't know what that means, but investigate a mystery.
You tell me what you want to do, and I tell you what you have to roll to do it. That's all that means.
And act under pressure and other topics. Just know that you have all these things, and it should go by pretty quickly. You'll be able to get through it.
It's pretty easy.
Question: what does the monstrous roll for their natural attacks? Because it actually doesn't say. Is it tough or weird?
For you, I believe it's weird, but let me look.
Okay.
So if you go to the Hunter's Move references and you see kick some ass, you can click on it and it'll tell you, you can let you switch between tough and weird or whatever you want.
Well, I know, but that's probably depending on your class, so that's why I'm asking what my class should be using.
Yeah.
What's your stat block? Which one did you pick?
So I picked the 3 weird, 2 tough. So I guess that's the top one with the -1 charm, -1 cool.
Alright. So you have vulnerability as your curse, you're immortal.
Immortal and incorporeal. And then I did magic force, and then I added the extra range, so it can be close or hand. It doesn't just have to be close distance.
Okay.
Yeah, it should say in it, if it's tough, then it's tough. If it's just weird, it's weird. It should say
weird for you.
It is weird, okay.
It's weird for you. I don't know if it is, but I'm saying that for your
that's why I picked the tough one, because I was like, if I'm doing natural attacks, I was like, do I pick tough to make sure I can kick some ass? But I don't. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a free move, a free monstrous move. You're gonna get Unholy Strength because it doesn't make sense for me for you as a ghost person for your strength to be based on toughness.
Okay.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, but the way you're envisioning this is like you're basically like a poltergeist. Like you're.
So when he was manifested as a ghost, it was in pure revenge to kill all the people who murdered him. Yeah.
So yeah, you're a poltergeist basically. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just saying weird. I don't care if it's supposed to be a move.
And I may change my
switch up your stat block. Don't care.
Then, yeah. Okay, I'll look at that.
Just because I don't think tough makes sense for you're literally using your force of will, so to speak, to attack that person, and that feels like weird to me. Not.
Yeah.
Tough.
Well, it does actually, I guess in the Monster Breed suggestions, it does say base magical force. Yeah. I guess it is kind of magic.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions about anything before we get in here about your character sheet and how it works and all of that? Because I think we've already noticed that I didn't know how your Roll20 character sheets work.
The starting stat block is
only know the paper.
The starting stat block is based on what you chose, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so like I just want to make sure the options I had available to me were
Yep,
for expert.
you choose that starting stat block from that drop down, and
Yeah.
then some of your abilities can improve your stats. Those starting stats. I will let you all know, I am giving you 1 free level.
Oh,
So you can pick 1 more move, whatever. So basically how leveling up works in this, so you all know, is you mark an experience point whenever your rolls total 6 or less. Basically when you fail hard, you learn from failure in this game. Or when one of your moves tell you to. There are certain moves that also give you experience. Whenever you mark the 5th experience box, you level up. You erase all 5 marks, and you choose an improvement from your list. So we'll use, since I have the monstrous in front of me, I don't believe Chris can pick another curse, but he can pick from another move from his move list.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I could do plus to stats.
You can also get improvements, yes. So you'll see that in the second part, like the second page of your
Ooh.
character sheet.
I can actually
under
pick a move from another
improvements.
playbook too.
Yes. Yep. You can do that twice before you get to advanced. So basically, after you level up 5 times, you get to prove from.
Oh, I can
the
take another
advanced improvements.
natural. I can take another natural tax pick, so I can.
Mhm.
Okay.
So what leveling means? I pick an improvement. Is that what you said?
yep.
Yep. So if you look on the second page, it'll have improvements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
like
see.
a section, and then you just pick from that, and then that'll tell you what you get to add.
Saying we should do that now.
Yes.
Pick one
No.
right now.
Pick one right now. Okay. I also had a question. Some of mine say like hold,
Hold.
yeah.
So how hold works, I actually may have to break out my book for this, because for some reason they didn't put it on the... Why did they not put that on the reference sheet? Sorry, I just want to make sure I am telling you guys correctly, because it's hold is its own thing. Yeah.
So this time, I just to let you know, Brandon, I did take the site now, so that it helps me with investigating
Perfect.
a mystery. So that's what I did. Is I took another spook move.
Okay, I'm just gonna look it up because I don't feel like looking through the whole book.
All right, I'll be right back.
Also chose
I
an
recovered
ability
a stash
for
of money.
improvement, and I don't think it updated automatically. Is that expected, or do we have to manipulate the scores?
Say that again, Reagan. I'm sorry, I zoned out for a second because I was reading something.
No, it's okay. So I chose for my improvement to add a +1 to one of my ability scores, and it didn't adjust automatically. So do I need to make that adjustment?
You need
Yeah, it might just be that Roll20 sheet doesn't update
Yeah.
automatically.
you can click on it, but you have to update it manually.
Yeah, my assumption was the improvements on the right, and I don't know, I haven't played this for any length of time, is you can only do one of those each time you level up. That's why there's like 2 of some.
Yeah,
So that's why I think you're just checking off the box there, but you still have to do it manually.
yeah. And like I said, after your 5th level up, you pick from the advanced improvements list, not the improvements list anymore. So that's part of the reason why there's only like 2.
So we also
You
get
know.
to check off one of those bars from the improvement list.
Yep, I'm giving you 1 free improvement just because most of you have, even though
One of those
some of
is
you are
experience.
younger, you all have pretty significant life experience. So
What I'm asking is, we get 1 box checked off in the experience box. Yeah.
So yeah, you get 1 free level. So technically, you only need 4 more levels until you hit advanced improvements.
Oh, so you don't pick one of those right now, though. You
Yeah,
only
no, you do. You pick from that improvement list, but you just
Oh.
pick 1.
pick 1, and then you get 1 box.
Yep.
Next.
So yeah, you pick from that improvement, and then that improvement tells you what it gives you. So like, let me look at your... Where is the crooked? So you can either improve your stats, get a +1 to sharp, tough, core, charm. You can take another crooked move. You can gain an ally, which is literally. I also want you guys to know that this is a thing you can do in this game, which I didn't know you got this early. You can create an entire second character that joins the party as your improvement. It's normally an advanced improvement, but apparently Derek's class has it as a regular improvement. That's one of his big things. So basically, you can call in most of the time in the backstory. It's like you call in an ally or something, and that basically just means you make a second character who you also play.
Hey, call in your cousin Vinny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing the recover the stash of money from days.
Okay. Hold on, let me look at... I forget what the value of money was in 1920.
I'm not really going to use it to pay for anything. I'm just going to use it to greet people, really. Or, like, splash the chips on the pot, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why they listen to me. I don't really own that money. I just use it to put a little grease on things.
My wife made a peanut butter pie with chocolate pudding.
Pudding.
And a graham cracker crust.
That's the kind of crust you want, isn't it?
Derek, you find your money. You get $300, and to give you an idea, exchange rate wise, that would be equivalent to about 5,000 to 6,000 today. All right. Does anyone else have in their improvement anything they need for me to give you, like Derek, like you're getting money or a new item or anything like that?
No.
All
I'm gonna
right.
play Fly. Because Ghost, why not?
Ghost. Yeah, that's what I thought you would pick, but I wasn't gonna pick for you. All right. I will give you guys the option. I think we're ready to go. We can take a quick break now before we start the story, or I can give you the first scene and then we can take a break.
We can take a break now and then get started and take 10 minutes.
Perfect.
Now. Sound good?
Yeah. But yeah, everybody has their hooks. Everybody has their character. Everybody has their powers. Let me know in this next 10 minutes before we get back if anybody needs anything. If we are incorrect about us all having our things. This is what happens when you let me DM.
For some reason, Derek's camera decided... Oh. Well, there's Derek's camera. No, it's not Derek's camera. For some reason. Derek's camera decided to disappear during the chat, and I don't know why. It makes no sense. I will have to fix it when we get back.
Are you? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're back to continue playing.
All right. So, backstory. Our adventure takes place in America, in Detroit, in the year 1928. To set the scene for you all, you are at the tail end of the Roaring Twenties. You are in the fuck around era. However, you are at the tail end of the fuck around era, and you are beginning to see the find out. Jobs have been eliminated due to automation. Debt is very high. You also have a good standard of living. This isn't the Depression yet. Blah blah blah. But if your character knows anything about economics, I don't know if any of them would, but we're just gonna throw it out there. They would basically know that the economy is over leveraged and there's not enough being spent on commodities and blah blah blah. You are economists at the time would probably be worrying like they do now about a recession. But you're not listening to any of that probably because you're still partying and drinking bootleg champagne. Other thing to remember, this is the Prohibition. Prohibition is still in effect. So, however, you are, if you will look at your map, at the very bottom of the map, below the Detroit River, that's Canada. So Detroit during this era was a smuggling hub. This is where a lot of the supply that went to the mob families in Chicago came from. Windsor, Canada. But anyway, basically, this is post-World War, First World War. Things still aren't great in Europe. There's been a lot of defaulting, and they're still recovering from the First World War. But things are great here in America. The Roaring Twenties are still in full swing, and if you are not on the margins, we'll call it things are great for you. With that said, we're going to start our story with Greg. I want you to describe your character for the audience. To set the scene, you're pulling up to this house in an automobile.
Okay.
And I want you to decide how you exit said automobile and present yourself to the audience.
Okay. He steps out of the vehicle. This guy, one foot at a time. He's wearing pretty nice shoes. Like suit pants. He's a big guy too. He's like 6'2". He's wearing the ugliest sweater you've ever seen in your life. It's horrendous. But he's got like a dress shirt underneath it, so the white collars are out on top of it. He's got some weapons on him that you would see if you looked carefully. He's got a dagger. In a sling on his back, he's got a shotgun that he can get at pretty quickly. So he looks like he means business. He's not a good-looking dude at all. He's got kind of like a pug type face. His hair is kind of long and greased back. Mm-hmm.
It reminds me, what you're describing to me is The Goon. The comic book The Goon, to me. Sorry, it just thought.
Sorry, I have not read it.
If you just
Yep.
look it up, you look it up, The Goon, you'll probably get that reference just by the image of the comic book strip.
Cool. All right.
But what's your character's last name, Greg? Or what name would, I should put it this way, what name would your contact know you by?
They just call him Brock.
Brock. Okay.
Everybody just calls him Brock.
As you roll up to this house, it's expensive but not ostentatious.
There you go. That's the tune.
I mean, that's
You
not.
better-
He's wearing like an Argyle sweater. It doesn't look
Sure,
like
he's
that.
a dressed up goon.
You've been around the block, you've been around enough real money that you recognize it's that feel. It's the kind of person who has real money but doesn't want to flaunt it. And in your experience, that's the people with the real money.
Yeah, right.
And as you pull up to the street that this house is on, it's a nice sort of, brownstone walk up. As you walk up to the front door, the door opens and you see this, I don't want to say wizened, but he's a much older man. Very proper. And he just looks at you and says, Mr. Brock, I presume?
Yeah, that's what they call me. I'm Brock.
Right this way, sir. He motions you into the house.
He politely wipes his shoes.
Much appreciated, sir. If you step right this way, Mr. Weiss is in the study.
Okay, I follow along.
Derek, do you approach the house, or I'm gonna leave it up to you? You were told to meet him at this address, or at least to come to this address, I should say. I will leave it up to you whether you actually approach the house, stay outside, do your normal lookout thing, but you were sort of told to meet this guy at this address, this Brock guy.
Is there a service entrance I can get into?
There is. You know that at the end of the street, there's not in between the houses, but at the end of in between each block, there's sort of a back street, a back alley, so to speak. And yes, there's probably maybe not a servant's entrance, but at least a back entrance off that alleyway.
Yeah, I'll just start going down that alleyway.
Okay. So you walk down this alleyway. You've been through here before. This is a nicer neighborhood. You've cased houses, or I should say, you've been involved in jobs in this neighborhood before.
Casing houses is the appropriate adequate.
Yeah.
Window shopping?
Yeah. So you have a pretty good idea. You also know that, to give you a little bit of backstory because you're a local, you know the guy you're meeting with has money. Or not the guy you're meeting with, but you know the address you're going to. You sort of know who lives there. You've seen him before. You know he has money. You know he's connected but not made. And you know that he is mostly legitimate. But he's not somebody to fuck with. And that's sort of what I'll give you when it comes to how you want to approach his house. But I'll put it this way, you know, as somebody in your line of business, you know what houses not to fuck around with, and this is on your don't fuck around with list.
Yeah.
How would you like to approach the house?
Going through the back alley and try to get second level, and then go down through there.
Oh, you want to like shimmy?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me. So, what do I want you to do here? Give me a sharp roll. 2 of them. The first one is for spotting the way to climb, and the second one is for how well you climb it.
Input value forward 0.
Yeah. Just click that because you're not adding anything.
Yeah.
Okay, where did that? I'm in the wrong fucking window. That's why.
8. 8's the first one,
Okay.
and then the second one is 10.
Okay. So you find a way up. You find a path up. It's a bit of a pain in your ass. It involves the drain pipe, and unfortunately for you, it's a round drain pipe, so you don't have a lot of purchase. But luckily for you, you're pretty good at this by now, so you make it up, no problem. You are, we'll say, a little bit above eye level with a second-story window hanging off of a drain spout. How do you want to try to get in? Or do you want to try to get in?
I'm trying to get in because I want to meet with the guy, but I don't want to let him know that I'm there quite yet.
Okay.
I'm going through the is there like a porch or like a window that I could crawl in?
You are next to a window. You do not see any open windows. You could attempt to open one of the windows, though. You could also give me another sharp roll. Okay. You look up and you see that on the 3rd floor is you'll know what I'm talking about. It's that sort of like New York balcony. It's not a balcony, but it's
The halvesy.
yeah, the halvesy, where like there's a door there or a window that opens pretty easily, but it's not really a balcony. It's just sort of a space
Yeah.
that they put a railing up, you know, kind of architecture.
Called
You
the
see that
Juliet
above
balcony.
you. Is that what it is? The Juliet balcony? Thank you. I can never remember the term for that. So yes, you see a Juliet balcony above you. You could try to make your way to there, or you could try to get in one of the windows in front of you.
I'll try to make my way to the Juliet balcony.
Okay. We're gonna skip the climbing again because you're good at this. Climbing, you've already made purchase on the pipe. Climbing's no issue now. So you make your way up to the balcony. The door, and it is a door. You are in luck. Is closed, but that's all you can really tell. I'll leave it up to you how you want to approach.
Can I just jimmy it open with my knife?
Give me a sharp. Actually, yeah, let me make sure. I need you to give me a sharp, but I also want you... Are you trying to be stealthy about this?
Yeah, I'll try to be stealthy.
I want you to give me a cool roll as well. So cool first, sharp second. So you're acting under pressure right now. Okay. And another sharp. Okay. So, you see that it's a pretty... I don't want to say an easy lock, but it's not exactly anything you've never seen before. You slide your... Is it a knife you're using?
Yeah, I'm going to try to use my knife.
Okay. You slide your knife in between the door frame. You're going to kind of brute force this one. You're kind of you're basically using the credit card trick on this one. So you force your knife in. You don't make that much noise sliding it in. You wiggle it to press in the bolt on the door, and it comes open. What do you do?
Don't worry, I had premonitions of what credit cards were. Gave them to you.
Oh, that's right. You,
I'm teasing.
Aaron, what are you doing during all of this?
I'm not going. I just see him go over there, and I just kind of shake my head, and I just walk to the car where he got out, and I just sit against the car and light a cigarette.
Okay.
I'm not doing any of that shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm like,
Fair.
I'm here to do a job. Why am I going to do more? No, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to lean against the car and have a cigarette.
Fair. Aaron, as you go to lean up against the car and light your cigarette, that feeling you get, not the things you see, just that feeling you kind of get when you see them, the hair on the back of your neck starts to stand up. Derek, what are you doing, buddy?
I'm just gonna push in the room and kind of get like a just case of the place, trying to find this guy.
Mm-hmm.
See if he's there. See where.
So you step inside the door is what we're getting at here. You actually walk into the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk into the house.
You take 2 steps inside this house, and you are immediately met, almost out of nowhere, by one of the largest human beings you've ever seen. And before you know it, you're on your back with a pistol jammed into your face. And all you hear is a man with a slight Hebrew dialect say, "Well, it looks like we have a visitor." What do you do?
I'm gonna try to push him in the direction that I'm trying to test their security and introduce myself.
So what do you actually say to him? How do you voice that to him?
Oh,
I definitely want you to give me a charm roll on this one.
Yeah, I'm glad that you called me. Took you long enough.
Oh, is that so, wise guy? What are you doing?
Well, we're supposed to meet a half an hour ago, so I went looking for you.
I ain't supposed to meet anybody, kid. What are you doing in Mr. Weiss's house?
I was told to come here, meet a guy. Poor thing. It's normal in my.
You would know his name.
I don't know his name.
Alright, kid. Let's take you to Mr. Weiss, see what he has to say about it. Lucky for you, he don't like messes. And he picks you up, with one hand, mind you, by your collar, up onto your feet, sits you down, and as you finally get a good look at this human being, he is, I would say, a good 7 feet tall, 500 pounds.
Jesus.
This is the largest human being you've ever seen.
So he's Kingpin. He's Kingpin. Jesus.
Yes, he's basically, think a slightly svelter Kingpin. And yes, that is what you're dealing with, a very large human being. He's a big man. And he sets you down on your feet, and you get the sense that he's not letting you go because things are okay. He's letting you go because if you try to run or do anything, he'll literally crush your skull. And he just sets you down and says, "Walk," and points towards the stairs down to the second floor. As you're walking down the hallway, you see some rooms. I'm assuming with your natural instinct, you're making some note about, where rooms are and which windows lead out into the exterior and all of that. But you get to the second floor, and there is a man in an Argyle sweater standing in front of a door, and he seems to be waiting. Who you're now recognizing as Mr. Weiss's bodyguard leads you up next to him and just says, "Wait here." And then he sits about 2 steps away from the two of you in a chair outside the boss's office.
Did my character know that that Gilbert was meeting me here? Like do I know him by face and know that he was supposed to be here? Or
Nope.
no? Okay.
Nope. You know that he was supposed to meet you here? Or rather, you were led to believe that whatever contacts you would be meeting at this address.
I just don't know he's the one.
You don't know it's him.
Right. Gotcha.
So I'll leave it up to you how you two want to handle your interaction. I'm going to say you're waiting for about 10 minutes before you're let into the office.
And so what's the bodyguard doing? He's still sitting there watching us? Or
He literally sat down. He's about 2 or 3 steps away from Derek, a little further from you. And he sat down in what looks like his normal chair outside in kind of the antechamber of this guy's office. And he's just sitting reading the paper. And you notice that he's keeping an eye on Derek.
So after a couple minutes, Derek, do you say anything in the first couple minutes?
While I'm in the room, eventually we'll stairs.
Yeah. Well, so
I'm just trying to play it cool and be quiet.
Yep. Okay. All right. So a couple minutes go by of awkward silence, and then Brock turns to him with no subtlety at all. Right? Just doesn't care that the guy's sitting here, and he says, "Did you get yourself in trouble, kid?"
Just gonna wave my hand.
I'll take that as a yes.
Just gonna point at this guy, and then just shrug.
So Brock's gonna track him, right? He's gonna go over and look at him, because he hasn't seen this guy before, right?
No,
Right,
you met, you
I
were
met,
by
the butler or something.
not the
Yeah,
bodyguard. Yeah.
So he looks over at the guy and kind of whistles low under his breath and says,
That's a specimen. It's a real specimen.
and he's just gonna go back to waiting.
Yeah, the bodyguard just sort of looks up at you from the paper, and he smirks at you, but it's not in a shitty way. It's just yeah, I hear this 9 times a day, kinda. And as you're 2 are sitting there awkwardly waiting, the door opens, and you're met with... You're sort of both disarmed. you're used to dealing with rougher people than this. Because the man who meets you when they open the door, you're expecting, especially somebody who would get this sort of favor from you, Greg. You're expecting, a contact, a family contact, not what you see. And you open the door, and you are greeted with what would probably be, in most circumstances, one of the friendliest faces you have ever seen. He's about 5'6", little overweight, bald on top, got like the horseshoe baldness, white hair. And there is, even in the midst of what you, at least, Greg, know to be immense grief, there is a sparkle there. The kind of guy you just, you kind of like. He kind of reminds you of your grandpa, even if he's your same age, And as soon as you open the door, he says, yes, come in, gentlemen, please.
Okay.
And as you both start to walk in, the bodyguard stands up for a second and goes, "Hey, boss." "Yes, James, what is it?" "Caught the kid trying to get in on the third floor window." "Interesting. Well, come in anyway." And he just shuts the door behind you, and you're both sort of surprised by the fact that the bodyguard is cool with it. He doesn't second guess him. Which, especially to you, Greg, is odd because he just said he caught this kid trying to break in.
Right.
But you walk in and he motions to 2 chairs in front of his desk. There's a fire in the corner, typical, Edwardian study sort of vibe. And he kind of uncomfortably is sort of staring at you for a minute, Derek. And then he finally says, "All right, boy, out with it. What is this about?"
Oh, I got a contact that I was supposed to meet here. I'm on an errand.
"Who are you on an errand for, boy? And don't lie to me."
From the family.
Who are you supposed to be meeting here, boy?
I don't know. I only get half the information.
You don't actually work for the family, do you, boy? Who do you work for? Don't worry, I'm not going to tell anybody.
I work for many people. Mostly myself.
One of those, eh? I was a corner boy myself once. Right. Well, the next time I advise you to try the front door, son. James is, he's easily spooked. And I imagine the gentleman you were sent here to meet is your compatriot here.
I don't know. Possibly. What's your name?
I
I'm
assume.
Brock.
Yes.
And if you don't know the name of the guy that you're supposed to be meeting, how are you supposed to know if I'm the guy?
I don't know. Do you know if I'm the guy?
I don't know. They didn't tell me the name of the guy.
Well, there you go.
I don't ask those kind of things. They tell me somebody's coming, and I assume they're gonna take care of it.
That's
Okay,
exactly
so
what
we've gotten to Abbott and Costello now. Is that what we're doing?
I love
Alright.
it.
I'm glad.
Who's on first?
Who's on first? He just sort of laughs, and it gives you guys the sense that this man may not be connected now, but he knows. He just sort of laughs at what the two of you are talking about and says, yes, that was probably Vincenzo. Old bastard always likes to play his cards too close to his vest. Anyway, the reason why I asked for your assistance is I need some circumspect investigation.
So at this point, Brock, his look on his face changes from mild like annoyance of what the hell's going on to like a look of seriousness, and he says, clears his throat and he says, I was very sorry to hear of your loss.
Yes. I loved my son very dearly. He didn't deserve such an end. He was a good boy. He never had to do the things people like you and I had to do to get ahead. Kept his nose clean. But he's gone now, isn't he? I'm more concerned with the bastards who did it. And that's why you're here. I'm going to tell you something about myself, Mr. Brock, and while I am aware that you are more than capable of defending yourself, I want you to know that this secret does not leave this room. It's part of your contract. If it does, I'll consider it breached, and I think you and I both know what that means, correct?
I understand.
Good. You know me as Henry Weiss. You boy, you from around here?
Yeah, I've been growing up since I've been growing up.
Yeah, you ever ride a Weiss bicycle?
No, no, I've never been able to ride a bike.
That's me. Made a clean break with that. Enjoyed myself with it too. But my name wasn't always Weiss, see? I came to this country back in the 1902. Can't exactly call myself a young lad then, but younger than I am now. My real name, boys, as I pull this up as the DM, because I don't have my shit in front of me.
And I just gotta say, bravo, Brandon. Fuck you. I look up Weiss Manufacturing and it's all bicycle parts. You are...
But I was in my previous life, I was known as Chaim Weissenthal. Like a lot of folks, I changed my name when I came over. Not a big fan of my people. The only reason I'm telling you this, Mr. Brock, is that my son, when he came of age, I told him what our background was. He became a little obsessed. Dug into our roots, started attending temple, even though I told him he shouldn't. But it was when he started getting into the Kabbalah that I started to really worry. My grandfather was always talking about those things. Strange man. Barely remember him. Doesn't
Do I-
matter though.
What is not? I'm sorry, not to cut you up, but what do I know about the Kabbalah?
You would, you are not familiar with it, but you are, as in, like, you don't know the particulars of it, but you are aware that it is a Israeli mystical tradition.
Okay.
It's basically, I am not Jewish, obviously, so if anybody's watching, please don't take offense. But there are people who believe that it's basically Jewish magic, that it has the capability to. It is basically the system that they claim that Solomon used to like bind demons and raise stones and stuff in the Bible. And Madonna got really into it in the 90s. Yeah, it was a weird trend for a while, but
Skeleton back and haunted us.
but yeah, you are basically aware that it is a magical, mystical tradition that sort of predates, that comes from that region and sort of predates Christianity, and it's very rooted in like the earliest periods of, or possibly even before, the Kingdom of Israel.
Okay.
So like it's like it's basically the Hebrews, like we'll call it ancient mystic tradition. It's kind of like the more, I hate to use the term, but like tribal beliefs they had that were worked into Judaism before they kind of went, no, we don't do magic, and it was not allowed. But anyway, in character, he was a strange man. The only reason I tell you all of this is that they found a message with my boy. I had to have it translated. Couldn't tell you what damn language it was. Don't care either. It's for you to find out. All I can tell you is that it said, "Thus to the sons of Solomon."
Thus what?
Thus to the sons of Solomon. And let me double check something, because I don't want to get my history wrong here. There is also a symbol. How do I describe this? It's not even... Basically, what he says to you is that there's a term that's used in the message that was left on his son's body that is a very particular insult for Jews that he hasn't heard since the Old Country. Those are the only two things he knows from the message.
The phrase is the insult, or there was a symbol
No.
that was the insult?
There was a word used in the message in German, and I will eventually give you the word because he's going to give you, you know, the stuff. But there's a word that was very specifically. It mentions the Juden, but it mentions it in a way that is very particularly German. And it says, basically what he's telling you is that, we'll get back into character. It didn't take me long to put two and two together. some sick bastard between him going to temple. Looked me up, knows what we are, and I want him found. You hear me? And I want you to bring him to me.
Was there anything else unusual about it? Because, you know, they don't normally call me in for the normal stuff.
The language was a form of Proto-Aryan, no longer spoken. And let's just say I also have my sources like you. And I know, or rather they know, that there are those who use it, well, let's just say there may be some people involved in this who do the kind of things that we need someone like you for.
You think this is the real deal then, huh?
Yes. They didn't just kill him, Brock. I made sure this didn't make it into the papers, but it was ritual. There was a purpose. I want to know what that purpose was. I want to know why my boy died. I want to know why they're coming after my family. And then I want their goddamn heads. And he just slams his fist down on the table.
That can be arranged. I'm gonna need the detail on that ritual, though. I understand if it's hard for you, but do you have somebody that can give me the detail?
Yes. I can arrange for you to talk to my contacts. They'll give you better details than I do. Brock, I need you to keep this quiet. It's fine that they know that you're working for me. It's fine that they know you're looking into my son. I'm sure there'll be people who have questions as to why it's you. I'll handle all of that. You just focus on the investigation.
How about you, kid? You read that?
Yeah, I'm sure we can get down to the bottom of this. I've got a partner outside that could probably help as well.
Why didn't you say sooner, boy? He buzzes into a intercom system, or what you sort of recognize as a very basic sort of intercom system. And he just says, "Wiley, is there a boy out front?" Yes, sir. Well, let him in then. Aaron, as you're sitting there smoking your cigarette, feeling uneasy about the whole thing, all of a sudden the door opens and you see this old man in what you actually recognize as a sort of, not exactly, but it's nearly like a Bavarian, butler's uniform. Like, he's very proper.
Very German.
Very German. And
you see
he
me
opens
drop,
the door.
You see me drop my cigarette, smash it with my foot, and there's almost a moment as if I was almost going to Ten Hut, like like the German equivalent of like I was about to, like it's still ingrained in me.
Attention.
Like
yeah.
stand to attention, But then there's a sudden moment of relaxation, like, what the fuck?
Are you here to see Mr. Weiss, boy?
Yes, if that's what I'm here for.
Well, come on in then. And he sort of waves you upstairs. And you also notice kind of the same moment that you had. He's sort of giving you a look up and down. He's also... your intuition sort of tells you he's also, between your accent and the way you look, he's pegged you as somebody from...
The motherland.
The motherland. And he is concerned. You also note that, but you don't know why.
Can I,
You just know that your appearance sort of...
Can I just... surface thoughts from him?
As you sort of probe very lightly, surface level thoughts, you're just getting sort of apprehension, and below that there is recognition and the sense that something very purposefully has to be kept from you.
As I walk up, I spit off to the side before I walk into the building. And I just kind of just follow quietly.
He walks you upstairs and introduces you. I'm assuming, you being more prim and proper, he asked for your name, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you've given it to
Conrad.
him. And he opens the door to the study and just sort of motions you in. Okay, so now there's 3 of you. What do any of you do?
Are we trying to get information out of him?
Well, before, if none of you say anything when he enters, Mr. Weiss just sort of looks up at you, Aaron, and unlike the guy below, there's apprehension, but it's not... You don't get the same sense of fear or that sort of like what you got from the butler. There was a little bit of fight or flight there that he was suppressing that you were picking up on. You don't get that from him. He's definitely interested in you, but you're not picking up on... he's hard to read, I guess is the way I would put it, and you only sense a sort of mild apprehension. And other than that, he's very pleasant to you. And he just sort of says, come right in, boy. Your friend here says you're here to help me out with a little problem.
Weiss. It's an old name. At least partially.
Yes. I figured you'd recognize it. Yeah, my family, a couple of generations back. We come from, at least what I'm assuming is your country.
That's right. My country.
Yes. So tell me, boy, your friend here says that you can help me. I've already picked up on how your friend can help me, but you... I know somebody fresh off the boat when I see one. How can you help me, boy? What are you gonna know?
It's not what I know.
Hmm?
I'm just here to help a friend. Muscle led, as it were.
Hmm. Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
for the first time, or at least what I will assume is the first time, he just stares at you for a minute, and he smiles. And then you hear, in your thoughts, "It's alright, boy. I already know." And then his smile just gets a little bigger as he continues to look at you.
I actively spit on his floor.
He just laughs. And he looks at you and goes, "No. You'll be a help. I already know that."
All you hear in your head, in response, is parasite.
At that, you see his smile drop just a little. And he looks at you. And out loud, he says, "What do you know of that word, boy?"
Wait, so he said that word in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, you two have no idea. Basically, to your understanding, they were looking at each other in the eyes for about 30 to 45 seconds.
Well, yeah, and he spit on the floor.
He spit on the floor, and then
Right.
you just notice the room chill. And the old man, especially you, Greg, you're picking up on it. This man just became very dangerous, and you don't know why. And you're very uncomfortable with that fact.
At this point, I look at him in the eye, and I just look at him and I go, "I'm here for a job. Nothing more. If you'll excuse me." And I walk out the door, and I go back to the car.
As you go to walk out, you can feel, and you can't stop it, which is even more strange for you. You feel your memories from the last week. For some reason, you're thinking about the things you did over the last few days. And then, as you go to walk out the door, he just says, "Fine. You're here for a job, then." He turns to Brock, and he says, "Speak to my butler. He'll give you the note. He'll also give you the contact for the man I'd like you to speak with, who I've already had doing a bit of poking around for me."
Thank you, Mr. Weiss.
You're welcome. And Brock, keep an eye on the other boy. Don't worry. You can trust him. Just keep an eye.
The kid who spit on the floor?
Yes. He just sort of smiles at you in a way that says, "You know exactly what I mean." More than he seems.
Okay, will do.
Then he turns back to you, Derek. And he just sort of looks at you for a second. And says, "Don't think I don't know who you are, boy. If you cross me, I'll be the last person you ever cross, you hear? I don't deal in favors like your other friend."
I'll just stay silent for now.
Good boy. Alright, I'll let you get to it. Here's my number if you need to contact me, Brock. Give me updates when you can. If you need any other help, you'll get it. Clear?
Understood.
Good. And he sort of shuffles you out of the room. Before you can even try to meet up with the butler, he's there. He says, "Mr. Weiss told me you'd be expecting this. I hope you don't mind. My handwriting's not what it used to be. Can you read that?" And you see that he's given you a what we would think of as a business card, but like back then they sort of like wrote notes and stuff on, like the little like pieces of cardstock. And he's given you a little piece of cardstock with the name The Smith on it and a address. "This is one of Mr. Weiss's friends. He said you'd probably like to talk to him. A bit of a strange fellow, if you ask me. Goes by Lucian, but he's a nice enough lad. Is there anything I can do for you boys before you leave? Drink anything?"
Just Lucian, is he the one that's got the details?
Yes, he's an associate of Mr. Weiss. I'm not really sure why you're supposed to speak with him, but that's who Mr. Weiss told me you would most likely want to speak with.
Where do I find him? Is it on here?
Yes. This is his address here. He owns a pawn shop on Mercer. You can find him there most times. Is there any other way I can help you?
No, I think we're good. Unless you can do quick manner lessons. You teach kids manners? Never mind. All right, he's gonna head out.
All right.
We're gonna walk out to the car.
Yes.
We're
So
walking out. I'm gonna say shotgun.
It's right here, buddy. Right here, pal.
So you walk outside, and Greg, I can't remember, as part of your, does the expert get a vehicle?
No, I don't.
Maybe I'm
believe
thinking
I
the
do.
professional. So we're gonna hand wave this because rule of cool, and I don't give a shit. You are being given, basically when you came into town, you were given a set of wheels, which is pretty normal for you. You don't exactly drive across country. You normally take like a train, that sort of thing. So you've picked up a set of wheels when you got here from, I'm assuming, from the family. So the car that you were dropped off in is now yours. You've basically been informed. we'll hand wave that because I forgot that I for some reason I thought your backstory had a car, but I'm actually thinking the professional. And we're gonna say that Weiss informs you that you can make use of the car.
You see me at the back at the car, cigarette in my hand. I'm going, and I just basically I see them coming up and go, what the Yex say to KO?
He gave me a name.
I'm gonna go see
I'm
that.
gonna tell you, before I take you in front of anybody like that again, you better learn some manners. I never see anybody spit on someone's floor like that. That's bad, man. It's not good business in this business. All right. But I got an address. Let's go.
You drive north. Greg, you notice a car following you. You've been around the block enough to know a tail when you see one. Somebody is keeping eyes on Weiss's place, and now they've got eyes on you.
Okay. What kind of car is it? Like you know, I realize that we may not necessarily recommend or models. I just mean like from an expense perspective. You know, like what feel do I get from this car?
Well, first of all, cars are decently commonplace at this point, but it's still you're firmly in the middle class to have a vehicle at this point, I would say. So you know that. Also, so Reagan, what sort of car would you say you would be driving?
I did not take that
That's fine.
particular
You're
thing.
gonna have one for right now. If you didn't take it, it may get taken away from you later through fate. But for right now, you have a vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, it would be just like a nice, unassuming car. Probably just a whatever's the most common color. I think at this point it would just be black, right?
Black,
So,
yeah, it'd be black.
unassuming, nothing special.
A hoopty?
There hasn't been enough cars to be a hoopty.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're-
at this
we're-
point, there's
you're-
been 15, 20 years of cars.
Yeah, there's about 20 years, yeah.
Of common cars.
I'm going to say you are driving a Lincoln sedan.
Yeah, 20 years. 1908 was the Model T, and we're in
Yeah.
Detroit, so yeah.
Yeah. You are driving a it's actually nearly brand new. You are driving a 1927 Lincoln sedan. If you would like to look up a picture.
There's also the 1926 Packard Twin Six Roadster.
Roadster.
Yeah, I thought I actually thought about giving her like a Packard touring car, but I thought that might be a bit much. Plus, that I just feel like
That's fancy.
the Lincoln sedan also has sort of a G-Man vibe to it, so I kind of like it, and it's common,
Yeah.
unassuming.
So is the Model A. Model A's got
Yeah,
a good look to
Model
it,
A's
too.
got that. Yeah, I actually had a friend who had a Model A.
Oh.
With a rumble seat. Anyway. So yeah, you look back and behind you it's a newer sedan. You recognize it's a General Motors. You can't see the emblem. You know, cars at this point the body styles aren't different enough for you to tell exactly what the make is, but you know it's probably a General Motors sedan, and it's a newer one. Flat black, unassuming for the most part.
Not even white walls, buddy. Just plain as plain can be.
Yeah. The only reason that you've noticed it is obviously you've been doing this for a long time. And we'll put it this way. This car is acting very much the way you would act if you were trying to follow somebody. Whoever is following you not only is following you, but they know what they're doing.
Okay. Would I get the feeling that it's law enforcement?
You don't know.
Okay.
You only know this is either somebody in the business, so to speak, or it's somebody on the other side of the business. So this is either somebody on your side of the law, or it's somebody on the opposite side of the law. You know that. No shitty hood or random person is going to tail you this well.
Okay. So I'm gonna say something to the other guys in the car.
Hey, we got a tail, but I don't know who it is. What do you think? I'm gonna drive around a little bit. You watched. You tell me what you think.
What would you like to do?
Oh, I'll keep out. I'll look out the mirror while we're driving.
All right. Look at your sheet real quick. As I eat my cookie.
The important things.
Yeah. Cookies.
Just to let you know,
Did you
time
bring
check. It
cookies
is
for
almost
everybody.
just a time check. It's almost 5 till 10. Just FYI.
Yeah.
For some of us on the East Coast, we can't stay much
Sorry.
later. Can't stay
We can
out
wrap
much
it up
later.
here soon.
I want a cookie now.
I was gonna try to get you guys to the pawn shop, but we'll call it a night after this. That way we could start. I was trying to get everybody introduced in the first episode, but it's fine. We'll get everybody. We'll get the.
We got
the
plenty
two,
of time.
Yeah, we'll get the 3 that haven't been introduced in the next episode. We needed you here for the session 0 anyway, so it's not a big deal. So Derek, I want you to give me a sharp, and that's it. Just a sharp. You're just looking, right?
Yeah, just looking.
Wow, you've been rolling poor all night, man.
Actually,
Like,
no.
you
He's
rolled
just
around.
been rolling mid.
Mids.
Yeah, he's been
didn't
rolling
roll
mixed
higher
success
mid,
on everything.
That's amazing.
Um,
I meant to ask. I did roll like 12 on.
on your premonition.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss. You'll have to tell me what my premonition is, maybe in a chat.
Yes.
Independent chat.
Yes. Yeah. We didn't get to it, so I didn't tell you what because your premonition was going to happen in story.
Okay, that's fine.
But yes.
I apologize.
We will let you know what you. No, you're fine.
Continue.
I'm just telling you that because this one happened, because you let me know before the start of the session, I worked it into the story.
That's fun. That is
But anyway, Derek, you see in the car, you don't really see anything else except Raven, what's your hair color?
It's black.
You see that it's from the build, it's probably a woman, and they have dark hair, but that's all you can tell. You can't actually see the face or anything. She's far enough back from you that you don't get any details, but based on the build, the hair and the hairstyle, like the silhouette of the hairstyle that you're seeing, you think it's a lady.
I'll just tell Brock. I don't really recognize it, but pull up this stop sign, see if we can get up on the side of her.
Her? It's a broad?
Yeah, I think so. Unless you know jet black hair or something.
Yeah, okay.
So I do as the man says.
So, Greg, this to you, since you have sort of a background in this, you're taken aback by this.
Hey, there's no way it's a tail. It's a lady.
Yeah, you have probably ran into a woman in law enforcement, but it's like finding the goose that laid the golden egg. Like, you are basically, in your experience, they're not working as like beat cops or the type of people who would normally tail somebody like you, so you're very confused.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it. There's no. It's no. You're just imagining things, silly Billy.
So they pull up.
So
I don't know.
I don't know. I just tell them, I'm like, why don't we just see where it goes? Keep watch. I'll keep watch at the car.
Aaron, I will also say, you can attempt to reach out if you want. You can read people at a distance. It's just not as effective.
If you want me to, I can do investigate a mystery kind of thing. If you'd want to.
You don't have to do anything. I'm just letting you know that your power isn't like. You don't have to be right in front of somebody. You could read somebody at a distance.
So
as long as they're within viewing distance of you, you can get a read on them.
I'll go ahead and do that.
All right. How do you want to probe? Or are we talking like surface level?
Yeah, just surface level. I don't want to intrude. I don't want to be noticed. This is not something I'm trying to go deep in. Especially at a distance. And barely visible. Like, she's barely visible. All I've got is, like, an outline of who she is. I don't want to push it.
What are your skills?
What are my skills?
What do you do? What that character do?
Intel. So she's not physical, right? She's not sneaky. Her role is to get into a place, listen, take in as much information as possible, and then fade away at, like, and then report it back. Just,
I'm going to say you've had training for this.
Okay.
You feel a little tickle. Just a little. And Aaron, at first you were getting what seems like an intense focus on her driving for a second.
There's not radio in these cars, right? No. Then I'm gonna sing a song.
For a second, you get like she's very intently focused on driving for some reason. You're not sure why. You don't see exactly what's right in front of her in this moment because you're sort of delving in. You feel this intense moment of focus on driving, and then after that, it is this sort of like nonsensical tune that she's singing to herself. So what you sort of pick up from her is, like I said, that like a little initial, like she's really focused on it, but then after that, it's a woman humming to herself in the car.
In his hands, got the whole wide world in his hands. That's what I'm doing.
So you're Steve Buscemi from Con Air.
So that is what you get from her. I will let you all decide how you want to go from there, and this will be our last action of the session.
The only thing I do is I go over to Lars, and I go, I can't hear anything. It's just a song. It's a stupid song.
Well, it's just abroad. I'm gonna go where we gotta go. Maybe they're not following us. I don't know.
Perfect. That's where we're gonna leave it, and we will pick up our next session with Smith's Pawn Shop.
Smith's Pawn Shop.
Down there at the pawn shop.
I can't believe I've had to think about slurs. Horrible slurs.
It was so funny that you picked that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to find this out in the next session, so it doesn't matter. The reason why he reacted to you that way, that's the slur that was included in the letter.
Oh, awesome. Oh, especially since I also figured out the other one, which I did say later. I called him Yex, which is hugely German, like, slang for Jew.
Yes,
and I'm like,
yes, Yehuda.
Yeah, because the regular word is Juden, right?
Juden.
Juden is Jews, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying Yex and Parasite. So a lot of times it's together. It's usually the Jewish parasites.
Yeah, but that's the one that he hasn't, like, he's heard. There's lots of slurs that Americans use.
They don't use
Jews.
that. They don't use that.
He hasn't heard parasite since the old country.
Yeah. The Yokrovich.
So anyway, we will pick up next week. I'm sorry we did not get to introduce everybody, but we figured out everybody's backstory. Everybody's good to go.
It's part of the game.
And yeah, this is sort of part of this game, unfortunately, is it's if we don't make you all a Scooby-Doo crew, we have to slowly introduce you. So, and unfortunately, with your backstories, I could not make you a Scooby-Doo crew. too much work there. So, Reagan, obviously, you're going to be introduced shortly, and then I will give thought as to how we're going to introduce our two supernatural folks into the story over the weekend, and decide how I'm
excited.
Bring you in.
Well,
what I'm
he already
actually
said Greg could just call me because I'm his contact.
Yes, but what I'm actually thinking now would be really funny, Chris, is if he already called you and like he expected there to be travel time since you're like his normal contact, but you're a ghost and you're just
there.
Like you're there, and so like
All right.
what I may
Bye,
actually
everybody.
do is